So I was watching a street fight the other day that we're going to break down where somebody is stuck in half guard on the ground with somebody on top of them just pummeling them. I'm not going to really show you the clip because, you know, age restrictions, right? But I'll show you a little screenshot here. And basically the guy is just pinned on the ground. He's in a fetal position with a half guard hook and he's just taking punches to the face. He was in a perfect position to either recover with a knee shield or even better, to wrestle up. So let's break it down. Now in this fight, as we're saying, I'm in this bottom half guard position, kind of just feeled up, and this guy's just wailing punches on you. Obviously, this is not a good spot to be in, but we have two options that I'm gonna show you. The first one just being the knee shield and just kind of recovering back to like some form of an open guard, right? So initially the guy's leg is kind of off to the side like this. He's taking the punches. This guy's not really doing anything to kind of pressure or prevent me from moving. He's just sitting here wailing the punches, and even at one point, he even posts up on this leg to kind of get a little bit more oomph behind those punches, right? So when we come back down to this position, the option that I have is taking this knee and just starting to kind of implement somewhat of a knee shield. Now let's just say I start kind of getting a little bit of the knee and shin, and he starts pressuring into me a little bit more. This is where I gotta start kind of pushing. Ultimately, I want like my whole shin there, but if we get just the tip, I gotta start pushing back from there, right? Now the key with this is I don't want you to kind of just think of like a pulsing motion. I'm not trying to just kind of row the boat and just continuously push. It's the idea that the moment I get any part of my knee or shin in there, I'm gonna drive back right away, and I'm locking it in place so that as he continues trying to come back in, I can keep him at bay. Now this does not stop him from punching me, especially if you've got Cash's reach. He's gonna still be able to hit punches, but what this does allow me to do is keep him at bay so that I can take this bottom leg, start working this leg out. If I have to, go ahead and start punching. If I have to kind of like frame and post up a little bit, it allows me to bring this other knee in, and now I can start kind of working and recomposing back to an open guard from here, right? Ultimately, if he's still staying in the same spot, I'm just gonna start implementing kicks at this point. If he stands, I can throw kicks here. I got groin shots. I can post and drive up a little bit. I can throw down on axe kicks. But again, we've done multiple videos on fighting from the ground, but that's pretty much what I'm doing from here, is just again, implementing damage until I have the opportunity to start kind of working back up into a standing position. But that's how we can start kind of utilizing the knee shield. One thing I want you to pay attention though, is I have to learn how to find the right position. If I drop this knee too low thinking that, okay, across the waist is fine, yeah, I can keep him at bay, but I'm also allowing him to stuff it. And the moment he stuffs it, I'm not gonna be able to get that back. The other option is if I go too high, he's gonna be able to clear it to the outside and completely pass it. And now at this point, if he does close the gap, I'm gonna have a hard time bringing this knee back in. So I have to kind of start off on this 45-degree angle, and I'm gonna have to kind of be able to play this plane a little bit and just work the knee up and down as we're kind of sitting here fighting this. But again, it's the idea that I'm driving, locking it in place, and then from there we recompose. The other option is, let's say I start pulling this knee out and I feel him drastically pressure in, I can kind of just pull him down into guard. Then from here, obviously, you know, I can work strikes, I can tie with overhooks, I can work off to the side if I need to, I can use this as an opportunity to post and work back up, or again, we can work under, implement any sort of sweep, come up on top, do our damage, and we get back up. So you can use that guard as an option as well, but ultimately it's a knee shield that we're looking to implement. The other option that we have is wrestling up. Now, it's gonna look sketchy, it's gonna look like a danger zone, but I truly believe that the wrestling up is a better option if you are capable of doing it. Now, again, if he's just slowly working these punches, right? The idea with this is there's a lot of little details happening at first. Number one, my bottom arm is gonna come up on its forearm, right? This is gonna be my post, okay? Just bear with me. The second thing is my head is driving into his abdomen. I wanna suck my head to his stomach as much as possible. Lastly, this far hand is reaching all the way around and I'm grabbing whatever I can grab. The hip, the pants, the shirt, whatever I can get my hands on, I'm grabbing and I'm pulling and keeping myself nice and tight while I use this arm to kind of drive in. So if we're here, he's throwing his punches. Once I'm ready, I'm up. This is what I'm looking to do. Now, if I just stay here thinking that this is gonna save me, it's not gonna happen, right? So what I need to do from this position is start looking to wrestle up. Now, because I have this bottom hook here, I'm gonna start essentially looking to do a single leg on this leg and take him down and essentially reverse the position. I'm gonna take my outside foot, look to hook around and grab the heel. Now I'm keeping this bottom foot tight. I'm gonna start pulling on this heel, and as I pull this foot out, notice that he's gonna have to start shifting his hips because this is uncomfortable on the knee. If this leg wasn't here, it's not really gonna do much. But because I'm keeping that knee in place, I'm putting a lot of torque on the knee, which is forcing him to post out. Well, guess what? If he's posting out, he's not punching me in the face. As this is happening, I'm now gonna start going from a forearm to a post. I'm gonna start kind of going belly down, so now I've got the leg completely trapped. I actually have a figure 4 on my legs to completely lock the leg down. My head is still staying tight because I'm gonna use my shoulder. Essentially, I'm using my traps here to drive into him. I'm switching to his knee, and now as I drive through, I'm pulling the hips into me, completely buckling him down. We can body lock, and then from here, I can look to pass, pop back up to my feet, or we do the damage from there. So that's essentially how we're using a wrestle up to reverse the position. Now, one thing to kind of keep in mind, because I'm sure people will ask about this, is why are we just going to our forearm first and not all the way up to the hand? Keep in mind like where we're at. If I'm going head on with him right now and I drive up here, he's going to be pressuring back into me, and this is a stronger base with my forearm at this point. But if I come here and I try and go all the way up to my hand as he's pressuring into me, I'm gonna buckle and there's a good chance I'm gonna lose that position. So once I get to my forearm here, then I start kind of cutting this angle. Now I can post up on this hand to get to that downward position on the leg, and then we can kind of continue driving through. Now, again, when we do this live, so go ahead, just start wailing punches, right? He's wailing punches, I come up in here, and we switch it, right? Notice that if he tries to throw punches once I wrestle up, he completely gives up the position. And in order for him to actually, come back down, in order for him to actually hit any punches from here, he has to posture high and push my head away. Well, guess what? When he postures high, his base goes up. So the more that I'm able to fight up into this downward single leg, and the more I'm able to buckle and attack his base, he's not going to be hitting me. And again, if he does anything to try and hit me, he's given me the ability to take him down and sweep him faster. So ultimately, if you can wrestle up again, I think it's a safer and a better option, because not only can you reverse a position, but you can ultimately get to the back and can ultimately get back to your feet. Whereas like the knee shield one, I'm still kind of down on the ground and I still have to be able to fight back up. But the wrestling up one, I'm able to get all the way around here, which means I can work back up to my feet in a safer manner. So those are two options. If you find yourself in that situation, unfortunately, practice them, train them, stay safe. See you next time.